What is going on, chorus members? Choir Maestro here. And in today's episode, we're going to be looking at a few different things. First and foremost, we're going to look at getting the monastery at least planned and put down. And then we're also going to look at purchasing this territory here. We've currently got our bailiff doing their job, and it looks like they're almost finished. Yeah, they'll be finished here in just a moment, so we'll find out what that is. But we'll be able to purchase this territory. I do want to see about unlocking clothes, so I think we're going to actually go ahead and purchase that right now. So this will unlock three things for us, as you can see there: sheep farm, weaver's hut, and the tailor's workshop. Now, both the weaver hut and tailor's workshop require commoners or higher, but the sheep farm only requires serfs. And then with the clothing chain, we do need to go ahead and place the sheep farm. Now, if you'll notice, this actually does also have an undesirability factor around it, so we're going to go ahead and place it off to the side here. This shouldn't be too far away from the houses to really cause much of an issue, but it should be far enough away that it won't impact them in any way. So we're going to place that. And then next we're going to place the weaver's hut. Now the weaver's hut turns turns wool into cloth, and so we're gonna place this. But if you notice, this one does not have an undesirability factor, so we could actually place this, say, like right here in the middle of our town. I don't know that I necessarily want to do that, so we're just gonna place it right here for now. And let's go ahead and resume, and I'll come back when one of those things are built. Ooh, and our bailiff found a marble deposit. That makes me even happier that we're getting clothes set up, because in order to trade marble, we actually need to unlock this trade route here, which needs 20 clothes. So we're going to be able to sell that once we get this trade route unlocked, and that'll help with our profit pretty nicely. And there we go, the sheep farm is up and running now. In order for this to produce anything, you not only have to assign a serf to it, but you actually have to spawn sheep. I haven't seen a specific number actually impact the amount that it puts out, so I just like to spawn 4 just for cosmetic sake. But we're going to go ahead and assign wool to this one right here, so they can just drop that off right there. And then while we're building these things, I'm actually thinking I'm going to build another warehouse. I'm going to put this one right about, maybe we'll place it right here, actually. No, we'll put it back here. This warehouse back here is going to be for our clothes and our cloth. Once we're able to do that, I will be unassigning the cloth from here, but for the time being, it's okay having that like that. There we go, and the weaver's hut is built. That does take 2 commoners. However, since we don't have a ton of wool, I'm only going to do 1 for now. So let's go ahead and promote 1 and get them assigned to there. And then I did go ahead and place down the second sheep farm. I think we're just going to go ahead and get that worked on so that we can build up a nice little surplus of wool. It does take 3 wool to produce 1 cloth, and then it takes 1 cloth to get 2 clothes. So we need quite a bit more wool than we do cloth, and the 9 times out of 10 when I've been playing, the holdback is always on the wool side of things rather than the cloth side of things. So we're just going to do it that way, and I will bring you all back when I've got more progress updates for you. Okay, and we've got this other warehouse built. It's going to have cloth and clothes for now, and we are going to go ahead and empty the stock of the cloth right here. We're going to have something in here later in the future, but right now we're not. I am going to go ahead and assign, oh, just kidding, I can't. So this is where it's important to note, even though the iron mine is here and we've technically discovered it, I can't assign it because I haven't unlocked the means to produce it. Once I've unlocked the means to produce it, i.e. have purchased this territory, I'll be able to assign iron to it. So, and just really quick, because we are producing cloth now, I'm going to go ahead and remove the buy on cloth. We don't need to do that anymore. If we run out, we'll just produce some more. Don't want to accidentally purchase that though. And this other sheep farm is built while we're here. Let's go ahead and get those sheep in there, as well as that shepherd. And one thing I forgot to mention was increasing our taxes. We did go ahead and increase our taxes to the yellow tier. That does lower happiness by 14%. However, it'll increase our gold by quite a lot. As you can see, we were not making very much, so I'm hoping that that'll increase significantly. I would really like to get this territory purchased, but in the meantime, let's go ahead and plan the monastery. So I'm kind of thinking having it right here on this hill is what we're going to want. Monasteries work very similarly to the manor house. Oh, first we need to unlock it. I forgot. Let's go into the progression tab under Clergy. Monastery, there you can see 25 gold, but I've got 140. And then now here under the the monument tab, sorry, we've got the monastery. It works very similarly. We just place the middle of the area. Let's just go with here. And then you can see immediately we've got advice over here, building a monastery. Hearing of your interest in building a monastery, some of the most faithful among your villagers would like to guide you on the first steps of its construction. Who will the monastery be accepting? Our monastery will accept both monks and nuns, only monks, or only nuns. I'm gonna say both monks and nuns because I want kind of a balance in terms of the design. That's just a personal preference, but that's the way. So we're gonna start off kind of simple here at first. We don't need anything too crazy, and we do unlock some much cooler looking parts later on, as you can probably imagine. So we're gonna go ahead and start with this one here. This rustic little chapel. Actually, no, we're gonna go with the rustic hall. Now it's significantly larger, but I'm thinking we place it about there, and then we have 2 bell towers, like so. And let's go back, we're gonna add a sub building. Let's go ahead and add the monk dorms. So for this, we're gonna have a rustic quarters minor, and let's rotate that. And let's kind of sink it in there so that it looks like that bell tower is coming out of that building. Actually, I want to raise the bell tower just a little bit. So that's one construction tip. If you want to edit another subsection, you just need to click on it. It'll be highlighted in yellow. So I think that's a little bit too tall. There, I'm thinking just like that. So maybe just 1 notch up. Okay. Looks good to me. So let's go back. Monk dorms, it's going to stay like that, so let's add the nun dorms, and it's going to be the exact same just on the other side. And then we're going to add the monastic scriptorium. So monks are a little bit unique. I'll get into exactly how they work. Ooh, look at all those people coming in, and a merchant. Monks are a little bit unique in the way that they work. They don't work like a regular villager. They don't even work like commoners, so I'll get into that a little bit more when it comes time, but for now, just know that they operate completely differently. So I forgot to add an entrance to our tower. Since we are producing polished stone, we can look at some of these other options, but I already think right off the bat I'm gonna want this one with stone steps. So let's see what this one looks like. No, what about that one? That looks quite nice, makes it look kind of grandiose for the entrance. I do plan on expanding onto this in the future and having it be bigger, but I kind of like the look of that. So let's go ahead and do that, and then before I forget, we're going to add this rustic cross here and 2 up here, and then we're going to go ahead and add the monastic garden. Now this doesn't really matter truthfully how it looks. I like to make it look kind of uniform, so I'm going to spend a little bit of time here making it look nice. There we go, so that looks pretty good to me. Let's go ahead and get them started on all of this. So one way that you can get them to build all of it all at once without having to build the individual parts is if you're here under the overview of the whole thing under sub-buildings, you just click build. It'll do all of it all at once. So now let's go see. I am going to go ahead and take these people because we're going to have monks coming in. We're going to need that. So this merchant has wood for the bishop. The bishop is looking to build a few chapels along the pilgrimage routes. One of his merchants noticed your woodcutter camps and wants to make you an offer. Accumulate 100 wood inside storage facilities at confirmed delivery. So that will get us 10 clergy, which I don't actually think we'll really need, but the 150 gold could be nice, although our taxes have brought us up to plus 40, so that's not terrible. We can always try to discuss a better deal, but we only have a 30% chance of doing that, so I don't really want to, so I think we're just going to dismiss it for now. And so while they get started on that monastery, I am going to go back here into the goods production. We should, if we check up here, we should be, yeah, we're producing a little bit of cloth, so we're going to go ahead and get the tailor's workshop up and running. Now the tailor's workshop, very similar to the weaver's hut, does not affect anything in terms of desirability. So I'm just going to place that right here next to our houses so that our commoners don't have to walk very far to get to where they need to go, and then we are going to prioritize that so that they get that completed before the monastery. So we've got a lot of stuff going on currently. I do think I need to assign another transporter to the granary. No, actually I don't. But we've got a lot of stuff going on currently, and really most of it just needs to get built and kind of collected. So I'm going to let things generate here for a little while, and I'll come back when I've got some progress. And the tailor's workshop has been built. Let's go ahead and get a commoner assigned to that. So let's go into our list and upgrade somebody who is unemployed and get a tailor in there. And then we are going to go ahead and start unlocking cloth, which is perfect because that's what we need for the next trade route, which incidentally we can now do. So this is huge because this allows us to sell glass, barrels, clothes, swords, fish, marble, jewelry, and cheese. And then we can buy from them berries, coal, iron bars, wheat, grapes, wine, hops, and beer. So the marble is huge because if you remember from a little bit ago, we do actually have this marble deposit over here. We can't do anything with marble until we have citizens, which is the next tier of villager. So for quite a while, we're going to be able to just sell any marble we produce. Now, with that being said, that is going to require me to purchase another territory, and we are a little low on coins, so that I would like to get my coins built up in order to do that, so I can get everything up and running before the trade balances out. But in the meantime, we are going to go ahead and set clothes to sell anything above 5. We can build a market stall and get these to our villagers, or rather our commoners. However, I don't really want to do that at the moment, just because we really need the gold income for a little bit at least. So we're going to go ahead and focus on that, and then we are going to sell our herbs, anything above 0. That's going to be from the monastery. And while we're in here, let's go ahead and sell marble, anything above 0. And I think that's good for now. I'm going to go ahead and take this person as well, and it looks like our fish is dwindling, so I'm going to be proactive about that and place down another fisher's hut. I have not seen any negative impacts coming from putting multiple fisher huts on one resource. This game doesn't appear to accommodate anything related to that, so we're going to go ahead and just place down another one right there, smack dab next to it. And then before I forget, we will prioritize that so that they do it before the monastery. Alright, but other than that, I will come back when I've got something else for you guys. So I think we are actually going to go ahead and get the goods market unlocked here under the common path tier. And then we're going to go into our marketplace and we're going to edit that and go ahead and include the goods stall. I'm hoping, no, that's too far. I was hoping I could put it over there, but that's okay. We'll just put it right here. And then, like I said, I like to use the blue stalls to indicate my goods. That's just a personal preference. So we're going to go ahead and build that, and again, prioritize that, and then once we get that sorted, I will go ahead and assign the clothes to it, as well as a villager. Alright, and so something I'm noticing here is that our happiness is starting to go down a little bit due to the service and entertainment factors. Entertainment is a new one. For that, we will need to unlock the tavern, but I'm actually not going to worry about that just yet. However, the service is one that does need to be addressed. Now, the reason that the service is starting to negatively affect our needs is because we're capped on our weekly attendance. We only have a maximum capacity of 24 when we have 52 population. So I was going to wait for the monastery to be built because we do have the chapel here, but I think I'm actually going to go ahead and just build off of this a little bit and edit this. So let's go in here. I'm going to take the thatched nave. We're going to pop that right about there. I think it looks a little funky, but it's not the end of the world. And let's go ahead and build and prioritize that. Now we're also starting to not produce enough stone to keep up because the monastery is taking 199 stone. So you can see we have a lot of polished stone and no regular stone. What I'm thinking of doing is, because we do have this stone deposit over here, I'm thinking of building a stonecutter's camp next to the gathering hut here so that it's far enough away from there, and then having them just get the stone here. Now, something I haven't mentioned before, the transporters in the granary and warehouse, they will actually go from the granary and warehouse to whatever destination. So for example, this granary here, the berry pickers over here are not taking their berries to the granary. Rather, the transporters from the granary are coming over here to pick up the food and bring it back. So keeping that in mind, we don't actually need to build a warehouse or anything out here for the storage. All we would really need to do is go to where our stone is assigned, which is this one right here. We would just need to go to where our stone is assigned and probably add an extra transporter on there. So we're going to go in here and place down the stonecutter's camp, remembering that it does have that undesirability circle around it. Place it right there and prioritize that as well. And that should help with things. Now, another thing I want to do real quick while the game is paused is I do have 230 coins, which is quite nice. I want to let that build up a little bit before I purchase this territory. That's just because of the maintenance that this requires. We can see the upkeep is increased by 15 coins per month. It will balance out once we get the mines here up and running, but that is going to take a little while. So I want to let our treasury build up and do that. So I think I'm going to just let the game run while things are built, and I will come back when I've got the money for this territory. I'm going to go ahead and place down another builder's workshop really quick as well. That will be useful in the future for many different things, but primarily it's going to be useful for making sculptures and stuff like that. We'll get into that when we have citizens, which we aren't terribly far away from. We just need to fulfill the entertainment need and then produce some more goods for them. And after that, we will be able to look into producing sculptures, which are used generally for like the monastery and the churches. Speaking of making common wares, we need iron for that, so that's kind of why I'm saving up gold, because I do really want to get a full 4 miners here and a full 4 miners here. That would require not only 8 population, but that's also going to require a substantial amount of time while they build it, and right now I don't have the means to support this addition. So we're going to go ahead and let time run like I said, and I'll be back when that's done. Alright, now that I've got almost 800 gold, I've definitely got enough, so we're going to go ahead and purchase this. And then right away, I'm going to go here, click on the deposit, click on the edit building, and then we can see we've got iron quarry, cranes, and then some decorations. So the quarries, they do have an undesirability circle around them. However, if you notice, it's relatively small. You can place up to 2 quarries per deposit. So we're going to go ahead and place 2 on the iron, get that built. And then we also need a resource depot. So this does not have an undesirability factor, and this is going to be where they retrieve the resources from. So we're going to put this just right here. It's going to take 30 tools and 60 planks. So as you can see, it's going to take quite a little bit. That's exactly why I didn't want to do this without having some money first. Let's go ahead and build that. We're going to go in here, edit this building on the marble quarry, and do the exact same thing. And there we go. And since we are making so much money, I want to look at my resources here. We're going to go ahead and purchase tools to a maximum of 30. However, very shortly we're going to be... Actually, no, not 30. That's a little much. Let's do 20. Very shortly here, we're going to be selling tools. As you can see here in the trade routes, allied with the kingdom, we can sell tools to Davenport. We need 20 bread to unlock that trade route, and we could technically do that now. However, I just don't really want to at the moment. I'm kind of waiting for some more of this space to get cleared out so that I can do the farms over there, as the farms do take quite a bit of space. So once I get a lot more of this forest kind of cleared out, then I'll worry about that. And then before I forget, I am going to just go ahead and paint all of this in the extraction zone. You don't need to paint the resource deposits in extraction zones. That is going to be exclusive for trees and stone and things like that. There we go. So now we should see our lumber camp people start going here to get that. And then I think I'm going to go ahead and take all 4 of these people. I am keeping an eye on my berries and fish and meat, and we're still looking good. So getting these 4 will bring us up to 60 and give me a good amount of people to do things with. Improving trades with Northbury. Thanks to your increasing trades, a large number of folks are now looking to settle in Northbury. So this is going to increase our trade route capacity. However, they want us to accumulate bread, and I don't have the capacity to do that. I could invest coins, but I think I'm actually going to use our influence from the labor tier to do that instead. So let's do that. And then that upgrades our trade route capacity, I believe, to 75 total. That also gets us some new content in the busy tier, and right there we can see tooling produces. So this will get us 3 things: the charcoal hut, the iron smelter, and the blacksmith to make tools. I'm going to go ahead and immediately unlock that. As you can see, it just takes commoners. And then we also will need to unlock the common goods tier, but I think I'm going to wait on that just for a little bit. For now, I'm going to unlock the tavern and farming. I'm not going to place the farm or tavern yet, but I just want them available to us. And then we're also going to go ahead and get the careful planning edict. Refunds 50% of the tools used after constructing a building part. Now, in order to place a second edict, we need to unlock and get higher on the progression tab. So I'm actually going to use our bailiff to change, revise one edict here. Spends 150 gold, but we're going to be able to change our edict and get that tool replacement one in there. And the rustic church has been updated. As you can see, the capacity is now 60 nice, and that will allow us to be more than the capacity that we have, or rather need. And there we go, the iron mine has been completed. I'm not going to actually assign anybody to it yet because we don't have very many people, and I'd rather put them on the marble deposit, so yeah. And we have unlocked the notable tier of the clergy estate. So this has a whole host of things. There's quite a few that are useful. They all relate to the monastery. But what we're going to do first is unlock the All Faithful privilege. This is the clergy equivalent of the one that we unlocked from the labor estate. So we're going to go in here, we're going to unlock that. Go over to our edicts and privileges and add that in there. Now you can see that we did already have this one. This is trade covenant. We have the equivalent for the labor, but it's trade price bonus of 10% from village with clergy alliance. I don't particularly see that as useful until later when you're trading in bulk. So for the time being, we're just going to have that one. Now as you can see, they're making some pretty good progress on the monastery. They've almost got the second bell tower built. And once that's built, I believe they'll start working on the entrance, and then we'll be able to have a nice large capacity for service. I did have to go ahead and build another fisher's hut and another gathering hut over here, because as you can see, we are starting to dwindle on our berries a little bit. And while I'm thinking about it, I'm going to go into our resources here and change our berries to be sold when we are over 200. That's just to make sure we have a nice big surplus. So I'm noticing that we have a pretty wide area of no coverage of berries, rather. So I'm thinking that for our next territory, we're gonna maybe unlock this one so that we can build some more gathering huts here. I don't think we'll need to do that. I think our berries are okay for the time being, but when we increase our population, once we have monks and everything, that will be something we have to take into consideration. I am going to go ahead and assign 2 miners to the iron deposit, and as soon as the marble deposit's up, I'm going to assign 2 miners to that one. There we go. So I'm going to get the production on that up and going, and so because of that, we're going to go in here to this resource. Nope, this one, we're going to store marble in this warehouse, and we are going to store iron ore in this warehouse. I want to leave this one to be for common wares and candles. Those are things that we'll be able to sell to our villagers, so that kind of keeps it all centralized in that way. And the chapel in our monastery has been completed. So we can see that this has increased our weekly attendance to another 20, so we now have, between the two, a weekly attendance capacity of 89, so that's pretty nice. I did go ahead and place a couple more decorations around to try and upgrade more houses, and I am going to be taking all 4 of these people. As you can see, our food is now increasing again, and we have more spaces available here, so I'm going to go ahead and get all the miners going on there. And then I'll just keep taking all of the people that we get so that we can add them into the monastery. Now, it is important to note, and I don't think I have really touched on it, but the monastery will produce berries, herbs, and manuscripts. Manuscripts are only used for upgrading your monks and nuns, but they are very useful for things like there is a trade route that requires manuscripts, and it's a pretty useful one. It allows you to sell the herbs and honey and stuff that you're able to get from the monastery. So we'll want to get that up and running, and if you'll notice here, I can't actually assign a villager. That's because we need to first assign nuns or monks to the monastery, and then it'll automatically balance the monks and nuns between the jobs that we have for them. So they'll produce berries, they'll produce herbs, and manuscripts, as I said. So I'll come back when that's completely finished. Otherwise, we're just gonna let things build. We've got a nice progression coming around. Our town square is looking pretty solid, nice and upgraded. And I think I'm gonna go ahead and place a village tree. This is just a decoration, but it's just to make it look nice. I would place it over here, except that's going to basically be not worth anything since it's in an undesirable area. So I think I'm going to place it here, and that will take time to grow, but it goes relatively fast. And so I think I'm going to also place some flower bushes around this, and there we go. And we can see that that was all that that house needed to get upgraded, so I'm glad I did that. Now we're gonna come over here and we're gonna do like a little bench area with some bushes and whatnot, and there we go. That's what we're doing for beautification. We're nearly done. We've got the mines up and running. We're producing iron ore. We're producing marble. We're going to be just selling the marble for now, but that will get us quite a pretty penny. As you can see, we're all the way up to 600 out of 900 on our golds. Pretty soon we're going to have to upgrade our treasury. But I think I'm going to leave the episode here, guys. So we got a lot of progress done, we got the mines built, we expanded our territory quite a bit, we're making a lot of money. In the next episode, we'll get the monastery finished up. We're still a little ways away from it on stone, and I don't want to make you guys wait for that. So what we're going to do in the next episode, now that we've got some nice farmland out here, we're going to get some farms up and going, and we're also going to get that monastery finished completely, and hopefully we'll be able to get some monks and nuns in there to start producing stuff. But in the meantime, I hope you guys remember to hear the music in everything, and I will see you in the next one.